Welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are tackling under the Security Analyst role, the last remaining at the time of recording, critical alert that for April 18th, 2024, 3:09 a.m., SOC 274 Palo Alto Networks PAN-OS command injection vulnerability exploitation. Oh, that's a mouthful. Try saying that 5 times fast. Apparently centered around CVE 2024-3400. Event ID is 249, and type is web attack. So let's see. Hostname PA firewall 01. We get the source. We have the. Okay, so source 144.172.79.92. Did a post to our PA-firewall01 to global protect login.esp. Session cookie looks like it's doing either local file include .././././. opt panlogs temp characteristics exploit pattern detected on cookie and request indicative exploitation of CVE 2024-3400. Okay, so first thing, let's go ahead and dump the IP in. Comes back as malicious April 18th. When is this going off? This is April 18th. Okay. Let's do a quick verification. Oh yeah, only 16 days ago, so this is several months later, and still. Router hosting. A lot of malicious, malware, phishing, spam, suspicious. Well, almost hits all the trifecta. Okay, so we know for a fact that that's malicious. Let's see, that's the last. What are we looking for now? How about log? Did they try whacking on anything else? That is the question. Okay. And so do we actually have an endpoint in here that starts with PA? Outsource PCI? Or no, outsource PC1. CP, Spark Gateway. Okay, let's just grab PA firewall. Oops. Endpoint. Wow, okay. Can we contain a firewall? No browser history, no terminal history, but we do have. How do we have processes? Well, I mean, realistically, they are what? Linux, Unix, FreeBSD boxes in most cases. I mean, once you get down to the underlying architecture for a lot of this stuff. I mean, what is it? The pfSense is, I think, BSD? Some variety of that is the actual underlying operating system. So, I mean, why wouldn't you big iron? Okay, and then it basically feeds everything in. So we had to sit there and try to limit this down to about the rough time pan tasks. Okay, so we can get some stuff from there. This is April 18th, so let's take a look. March patch, project 2024, DLL, bill. So there's nothing in here leading up to April in regards to, hey, we're going to go ahead and do a scan of the environment, or we're going to target the PA devices. So we have no notification of expected malicious activity. even though it's just realistically scanning. Okay, so if we take a look at log management, then does that bear out? They did get 200s to slash global protect slash logout.esp. Two hundred. Then we get to this. We get a length. We don't get a 200 recorded in there, but we do get actual code. Whoami, or command. And let me guess, the next one is the firewall talking back out. Oh, these aren't aligned by date properly. Oh, here's the whole thing here. So, okay. They try to do whoami. All right. So if we take a look at this 2024-3400, arbitrary file creation leads to OS command injection vulnerability in global protect. Looks like it was a large swath of devices. Upgrade to, okay, so basically the fix is to upgrade. Workarounds and mitigations. Let's see. Customers with threat prevention discretion can block attacks for this. This has been seen in the wild, yes. Any checks I can run? If any value between session and does not look like a GUID, but instead looks like some sort of thing. Is that what we had in the log management? I mean, we can see the commands built right in there. Curl, IFS, and then go back, and then who am I? So I'm going to assume that, okay, we've got should I connect? How do I, okay, so cookie test vuln host. The firewall is protected by TCP reset. And of course then Unit 42 did a breakdown in regards. Except, okay, so looks like they tried to actually do a hunt queries. Oh, is our 144 in the grouping of IP addresses that have triggered the threat signature? No. Wget a curl, and then velexity, has got their whole thing in here in regards to how to talk about this. So I'll make sure to just, wait, do I just have to this twice? Boss is looking for like actual compromise of this stuff in here. Which I think we can safely say yes. Nothing in the terminal history and the network actions. If we just search for 144, we confirm that yes, at 15:09:42, that we did sit there and reach out to that thing. Or at least there was some sort of communication back and forth. System D, update.py. Why would you run? And let me guess, if we take this and the hash, it's just going to be for the actual Python, not the whatever version of Python that is, and not the actual update.py. I would love to know what the update.py is, but we likely won't find out. Oh, no, this actually was. So there was exploit for this. And it's actually recorded in there. And we actually got the hash. Sorry, more often than not, the hash you end up seeing applied to this, depending on the platform you're working in, is for, so it would be for the actual Python, not the update.py, but Python itself. You see the same thing with, like, when you see files being extracted, it'll be, okay, WinZip or WinRAR was used, or 7-zip, and that's what you end up getting the hash for, not the rest of, what was actually being opened with that program. So I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm fairly certain we can safely say that, yeah, there's some bad stuff in here. Does that hash, same exact one that was mentioned in the second Palo Alto the Unit 42 blog post. So, okay, so this was actually kicked off. So I would say we have execution, and we found enough to say this is bad, and we need to kill this. Kill this with fire. And of course, depending on how your organization goes through this, yes, this would probably be something that, yes, we need to kick this up to IR. But realistically, if this was occurring at the exact moment, one, you would have to consider how this would affect the organization. Hopefully this would be in a failover mode, so there would be a second one that isn't directly exposed to the internet that could just be swapped out. Hopefully that one has been entirely patched and is just ready to go, and this is more impetus to get this crap done. So then you can sit there and then pull the compromised Palo Alto device off the network, grab the log files, do whatever forensics you need to do, and then just nuke that shit from orbit. Anyways, I think we got enough here, so we're going to go ahead and take ownership. And we're going to go ahead and create a case, and we're going to start running through the questions. Understand why. Sure. Where's my copy and paste of this? Because we have a cookie that reached back out to the source IP address that started at 144, ended in 92, over port 4444, that tried to do a whoami. On top of the aspect that the requested URL was for the global-protect/login.esp. Apparently those two portions together was enough to trigger an alert that had been created. So you have the wherewithal to create an alert that goes in depth to this particular portion, but you don't patch your stuff. And I get, what if they did, okay, what if this Palo Alto is like absolutely mission critical, it stays up, but we couldn't afford to sit there and get a second one for, high availability. So we can't do a flip. I mean, you get what you pay for in this particular case. Hopefully there's a quick way to sit there and do another window. What is it? Maintenance window? Change window? Okay, ownership of the IP address. Which one? We know it's PA-firewall-01. That's at 172.16.17.139. We know the traffic is coming from the internet into the company. Ownership of the IP address. That router hosting. Apparently it's in the US. Midnight Eclipse. That's actually mentioned inside there, huh? A lot of it in regards to Palo Alto too, for the Google search results. Okay, who owns the device? Apparently we do. Examining the attack traffic. Is it malicious? Yes. And we come back to this crap again. But now here's the question. Because when we started this and started looking at the alert, so the requested URL is for something that is public facing. So I'm assuming then the question more focuses on the cookie for the sets, or what is it, session ID to be the ../././ to try to do the local file inclusion. But then it includes well, given the fact that the whole rule for this is command injection vulnerability exploitation, I'm just going to go command injection. And if it bites me in the butt, it bites me in the butt. This is not planned. This was internet to company network. Was it successful? Yes. We've already contained the device, and now we need to add the artifacts. So, what do we have? Ultimately, we have the attacker's IP address. What else do we have? Well, we have the SOC256. But if we bring that up in VT and we go to details, we can get the MD5. And we can just label that as the update.py. Okay. What else do we have? We have the requested URL that was being attacked. Which is the 172.16.17.139 / global-protect / login.esp. What else do we have? I mean, we've got the commands, but there's not really a section for that. It's not an email, so we can't utilize the email sender. We can't utilize the email domain. I think ultimately that might be about it. I mean, if we had a section for session cookie or something else along those lines, we could pop that in there. We don't. This does appear that it was a successful attack from outside to in. So this would require tier 2. So let's see. seems to have successfully utilized CV 2024-3400 against PA-firewall-01 172.16.17.139 via, and then I'm just going to sit there and do this. We're going to do via. We're going to pop that down so we get that there. And so basically that was just the requested URL and the cookie that points out the SESSID, and then that includes the curl for 144.172.79.92 on port 4444 with the user whoami to have that respond back. So the stuff that we got from the right here. So the requested URL and the cookie to pop in. I mean, the other aspect is when we look at the logs, was there an actual status? Yeah, 200, 200, 200, yeah. So more than enough throughout this whole thing. Close it. We're going to just keep the whole thing in there. And is the site still muted? I did get blasted in the eardrums. Oh, hooray, we got the whole thing. So you are sticking with the gut feeling in regards to the attack type. Is it malicious? All that good stuff. All right, so let's take a look at the actual case itself, or the write-up. Go ahead and save that if I've got to refer back to that at any particular point. Okay, so same particular aspect from the malicious IP, requested URL, session ID, which looks like it had the command whoami dumped into it. This is a PAN-OS server which runs our firewall application. Wait, can you actually run Palo Alto's as like virtualized appliances? I don't know, I'm just used to the actual full-fledged rack 'em and stack 'em boxes. I mean, I know that PF Sense you can effectively do that. So I suppose, I mean, if you had a contract, why not? So same stuff that we saw, we observed. The aspect in terms of vulnerable. So if we look at it, we get that it's 10.2.0. And the 10.0 would have to be H3. And this doesn't mention H3. So, okay, yeah. Of course, I don't know how they would visualize that. Maybe just as dash H3 or H2, or so this is just running the straight vanilla version of 10.2.0. Yeah, I miss that aspect in terms of actually checking. Of course, I think this is the first time I've actually done a Let's Defend alert that has actually had a Palo Alto device or something else in there. Ergo, my surprise that like the syslog stuff was actually being written in for the activity log, and the fact that we actually have software version denoted on there. So they go through, they do the same exact thing. They check the threat intel in the platform. They take it and dump it into virus total. They got 12 out of 90. What are we at? 14 out of 94. So yeah, still bad. We examine the traffic. And they try to hit, which we caught, the Global Protect login. That was a 200. The commands that were dumped in there, which we of course observed. And then the same aspect that they looked through in the, was it processes? Yes, yeah, processes for the startup. So they caught the same aspect in regards to Python 3, calling that update.py. They dumped that into VT, and it was labeled for the CVE 2024-3400, which I know it did not call out, but yeah, it's still there. Confirming command injection because we went off of what it was labeled, that it was outside in. That it appears that it was successful because again, they hit it, the cookie with the session ID and the fact that it was a 200. And of course they did containment. Okay, lessons learned. Timely threat intel is crucial for identifying and responding to emerging vulnerabilities. I would say a much more strenuous patching schedule with fallback options, rollback, and and high availability. So a second PAN device, which would have hopefully been patched before in order to rotate the stuff out in very quick succession once something of this level was announced. Monitoring for specific indicators of compromise to help. Yeah, I mean, you need to know what you're looking for, and IOCs do make that a little bit easier to go through and hunt. Effective threat hunting and detailed investigation, understand. Staying informed about vulnerabilities, implying patches, enabling collection of logs, various operating systems. Yeah, because if we did not have the actual process ID, here comes Onyx down the steps behind me. We would not caught the update.py being kicked off with the actual hash value. Remediation actions. Restrict external access, isolate command or compromised machine, apply security patches. Yeah, I think we're kind of past the point. I don't think I would trust that device after that. Full wipe and reload. So the same aspect, okay. URI, URL, whatever. Same thing that we called out for the Global Protect login. The IP address of the attacker. Could not put the cookie in there because it really wasn't a corresponding field. I mean, I suppose I could have used MD5. I don't know, I guess it just depends as to how these reports would be further ingested. Update.py, and then of course the same hash that we found, just obviously not in the MD5 section. So hopefully that was interesting. It was interesting for me because as much as I would love to sit there and have a bunch of Palo Alto devices to sit there and play with, I don't. So there we go. This has been the critical alert for April 18th, 2024, 3:09 a.m. SOC 274 Palo Alto Networks PAN-OS command injection vulnerability exploitation, or CVE 2024-3400. EventID 249, type web attack. And with all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video. Also, this should be, wait, when is this going? Okay, so this should be after Christmas, so, or whatever holiday you actually sit there and do. So hopefully you had a good Christmas, holiday, whatever you celebrate. And it should be coming up just before. So then I guess it would be beneficial then to mention, hopefully you'll have a good New Year's. Hopefully 2025 will be better than what 2024 has been. Always got to be hopeful. But like everything, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. With all that being said, I'll see you in the next video.